Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pat's Pulpit Pregame Show. I am Rich Hill. Here with me, as always, is my good friend Alec Shane, here to talk about Week 13 of the NFL season. Before we jump into that, Alec, how you doing?
I'm all right, my man. I'm all right. It feels like it's been a long time since Thanksgiving came and went, but that was basically last Thursday. For some reason, maybe it's just me in the world of Alex Shane that things have been too hectic. But it's been a long time coming, this game, I feel like. This is the first time from the Bills and the Patriots this year. It makes no sense. We're into December. These teams haven't played yet. So I'm a little, I guess, confused is the way I should put it, as to what to really expect today against a Patriots team who looks really good and a Bills team that I just can't figure out.
Yeah, but before we jump right into that, because this is a very interesting game, this is the Patriots' third divisional game of the season. Very weird for it to take place. Patriots usually have good fortune against Buffalo, but before we get there, let's talk about the slate of games this week, because there are some really intriguing matchups. Something that we haven't been able to say in recent weeks, if not most of the season, is that there aren't many games that really are good matchups between two teams or just are overall interesting for the Patriots. And usually it's just been exclusive towards Steelers games and the Chiefs. Those are like the only ones that really matter to New England. There's some matchups that, you know what, even if you don't want to know what's going on in the AFC, you kind of have to sit and watch it. You know, the Vikings and the Falcons somehow have a 1 p.m. game today. That should be very, very intriguing. And then tonight, the Eagles and the Seahawks take off. So, Alec, when you look around the schedule this week, what games intrigue you?
You know, a game that shouldn't intrigue me based on what we all thought early on in the year, but really is intriguing now, is Chiefs at Jets at 1 p.m. today. This should be a blowout. Chiefs should be well on their way to a number 1 seed based on how they started the year, but they just lost to the Bills at home. The Jets are a very intriguing team in that they're kind of an enigmatic. No one knows exactly what they do. They're good, they're bad. This is a very curious matchup for me, and I would not, honestly, based on how the Chiefs played last week at home, I would not be that surprised if the Jets are going to pull this one off.
Yeah, well, Andy Reid benched himself. So he's the head coach. He calls the offensive plays. He benched himself for actual offensive coordinator Matt Nagy, who will be calling the plays today. So, you know, Andy Reid can focus on the more important things like time management that he's really, really good at. So that should be an interesting game, because if the Jets win, I mean, the Jets are out of the AFC playoff picture. The Patriots have 9 wins. The Jets have 7. There's no way for the Jets have 7 losses, I should say. So there's no way for them to win the division. Patriots already have the tiebreakers over them based off of, I believe it's divisional record and conference record. But if the Chiefs lose, then, I mean, there's the incredible mountain to climb for the Chiefs to actually have their head-to-head tiebreaker against the Patriots. So if the Chiefs lose and the Patriots win, that goes very much so in New England's favor. That's an intriguing game. Sticking with the AFC right now, Jaguars hosting the Indianapolis Colts. That's a game that probably no one thought was going to be interesting before the start of the season. Jacoby Brissett, old friend, will be starting for the Indianapolis Colts, and the Jaguars are 7-4. I guess they're the number 5 seed right now. They're losing the tiebreaker to the Tennessee Titans to win the AFC South, but they are the only other team with the Pittsburgh Steelers that could potentially take home field advantage away from the Patriots as it currently stands. So the Patriots are really going to hope to lose. They just lost last week to the Arizona Cardinals. What's your gut sense on that game?
You know, it's funny. This is a very interesting game for, I guess, a big picture kind of thing, because I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars, there's a gut feeling based on the Tom Coughlin connection. As we know, Patriot killer Eli Manning has been benched for Geno Smith this week. Now the Giants are out of contention. People are already linking Tom Coughlin and Eli Manning for next year. And to me, Blake Bortles sees that as a challenge. And he's like, listen, this is still my team. The Jags are doing well. We're hosting Indianapolis. We have a chance to be at least a home playoff team for 1 game, if not 2, depending on how things break out. And so maybe the Jaguars take the Eli Manning benching thing, particularly Blake Bortles takes the Eli Manning benching thing as a galvanizing call, and he lights up Indianapolis today. I'm actually rooting for the Colts today because I feel like it helps the Patriots. It feels weird to root for the Colts in that respect, but if the Jacksonville Jaguars can have a dominating performance against the Colts today, and the Titans play the Texans, I believe, so they should win that one. So I think this actually might be as close to a must-win game for Jacksonville as you can get this point in the season based on their layout and their schedule. But I can really see Blake Bortles lighting it up today. I can.
That's an amazing prediction to make. That's probably more bold than me making a claim that Dwayne Allen's going to catch a touchdown. Is that Blake Bortles is going to light it up today? No one's ever said that phrase before, ever. That'd be great. I mean, that would be amazing if Blake Bortles all of a sudden just had a light switch go on this week against the Colts. He became the guy because he's kind of like their only missing piece. If the Jaguars had a quarterback, then they could honestly be, a leading contender in the AFC because they have the best defense. And if they have an offense that can complement it, the sky is honestly the limit for them. But moving on to other games in this week of slate, the 49ers are on the road against the Chicago Bears. Patriots care about that because they own San Francisco's second-round pick, so they want the 49ers to lose. Broncos are on the road against the Miami Dolphins, so that game has really no implications from an AFC playoff perspective because they're both almost as close to eliminated as you can get. But, those are two games that have been the Patriots' rivals over the better part of the past 20 years. The 8-3 Rams are on the road against the Cardinals, and then the 8-3 Panthers are on the road against the 8-3 New Orleans Saints. So those are all very, very exciting games to watch out for this week. And then tomorrow, Monday night, the 9-2 Pittsburgh Steelers are on the road against the 5-6 Cincinnati Bengals. Patriots want the Steelers to lose that one pretty clearly. Do you think there's any chance of that taking place?
I always say, Rich, anytime a divisional opponent goes on the road, anything can happen. Steelers-Bengals are a very storied rivalry. The Bengals are not good this year, but the Steelers have looked really inconsistent. I think when the Steelers are on, they are one of the best teams in the NFL, but they're not consistently able to do so. And I can think hiccuping on the road against Cincinnati. I feel like Cincinnati has nothing really good to play for besides pride at this point. They're not out of the playoff race, but I feel like they're more or less out of it. And this could be their chance to really knock Pittsburgh down a peg, ensure they don't host the AFC Championship should it get to that point. And anytime a divisional opponent goes on the road, it's always a tricky thing to predict a road victory in that situation. So watch out for this game.
Yeah, well, with that in mind, that's a really good segue. Patriots are on the road today against the Buffalo Bills, divisional round or divisional, matchup right now. Alec, what are your initial takeaways for this game? And right after that, we'll jump right into the game day inactives.
Yeah, obviously Patriots at Bills has been a game that's been pretty successful for the Patriots. They have a couple losses in the Tom Brady era in Buffalo, but really not many. They usually go in there and take care of business. However, usually they play Buffalo at least once by this point in the year. It's late or it's early December at this point. And so we're basically coming into a team we haven't seen before. They haven't really had a chance to scout them the way they would earlier on in the year. There's a lot of injuries, which we'll talk about in a minute. And one thing Buffalo Bills definitely have is a very solid rusher and a very mobile quarterback. And those are two things that have given the Patriots fits historically this season. So while they don't have a whole lot of weapons offensively besides Tyrod Taylor and LaShawn McCoy, especially with the injuries they have on their side of the ball, it's going to be an interesting matchup because the way the Patriots stack up right now, how they have trouble keeping quarterbacks in the pocket, how they allow a lot of yards after contact with the running backs, there are pieces in place, and there is a way to game plan if you're the Buffalo Bills to sustain long drives, tire out the defense, and keep this game closer than it could be.
Yeah, and that was something that was an interesting takeaway for Bill Belichick when he was mic'd up against the Miami Dolphins last week. He was heard on the sideline kind of talking about, we keep letting Matt Moore get out of the pocket. We've let him do that twice this week. And if Matt Moore is giving you a problem escaping the pocket and you're going to be down Trey Flowers this week, you're in for a pretty big treat with Tyrod Taylor, who's arguably one of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL, if not the premier guy. So Patriots are going to have to do a really incredible job containing him inside the pocket, or at least building up an early enough lead to kind of eliminate LaShawn McCoy as a runner, give Patriots the ability to dictate it a little bit. But going into the game day inactives right now, Alec, Trey Flowers and Trevor Riley. Those are two people in the Patriots defensive front seven. Don't think most people expected Trevor Riley to be a big part of the New England defense, but he kind of stepped in there when they moved on from Cassius Marsh. And what are they going to do right now? Kyle Van Noy is active, so he's going to step in there. That just also means Landon Roberts and David Harris and Marquise Flowers are going to have a larger role. With those two key injuries, though, on the defensive front seven, particularly with a focus on Flowers, what do you think that the Patriots are going to try to focus on when they're approaching the Buffalo Bills offense?
Yeah, this might be a really frustrating day from a Patriot fan perspective watching this game. I don't know how many blitzes they're going to dial up. I think if they're going to get pressure without Trey Flowers, they have to get creative with their blitzes. But if you blitz a mobile quarterback and he does a little Russell Wilson out and around that Wilson got so good at, there's a lot of field wide open. And I think they might be a lot of kind of very much a bend, don't break style today. Maybe go a little smaller. Keep your linebackers who are athletic. Landon Roberts, look for a big day from him. Kyle Van Noy. I'm going with my boy David Harris, my defensive X factor. I think he's going to be the guy that's not on the coverage aspect of LaShawn McCoy, but I think LaShawn McCoy is Harris's assignment today, and he will pass him off to be a Kyle Van Noy as a coverage linebacker if he needs to. But if they can keep a lot of plays in front of them, don't limit the big play, and just kind of make the Bills plod down the field, I don't think Tyrod Taylor has a skill set to do that consistently. So I think it's going to be a lot of just death by 1,000 cuts to Patriots defense today, as opposed to really pressuring Tyrod Taylor and forcing him to make decisions early. Because I don't think they have the personnel to do that right now.
Yeah, what makes this interesting as well is that the Buffalo Bills offense is going to be greatly affected by their injuries as well. They'll be down 2 starters on the offensive line, and left tackle Cordy Glenn and right guard John Miller. They've been out for a while, so the Bills have been making some adjustments. Rookie Deion Dawkins has been playing at left tackle. He's been doing a fine job there. And they've used Vlad Ducasse, the former New York Jets, at right guard. Clearly, the talent level is not as great, so there should be opportunities if the Patriots want to generate some pressure there. I wouldn't be shocked if Landon Roberts did a few of his blitzes up the middle that he just was incredible at last week against the Miami Dolphins. That could be in the cards. But I'm with you. I think that the Patriots are going to try and make sure that Tyrod Taylor doesn't leave the pocket, make sure he stays there, make sure he throws the ball. I think that we're going to see a lot of heavy fronts from New England, a lot of 3 defensive tackles, or Adam Butler is going to be on the field a lot. But in addition to missing Cordy Glenn and John Miller, the Buffalo Bills are going to be without a few key players at the skill positions. They're going to be without Nick O'Leary, who is their number 2 tight end behind Charles Clay, but because Clay has been injured so much this year, O'Leary actually has the most snaps at tight end. He's a very important piece for them to miss in their offense. They will be without Kelvin Benjamin, who, was a cherry on top kind of player when they realized halfway through, wait, we could make the playoffs. So they went out and they acquired him, but he hurt his knee, so he is not available. But he was expected to be one of their top 2 wide receivers alongside Jordan Matthews. But instead, they're going to have Jordan Matthews and Zay Jones out there. Zay Jones is a second-round rookie. And then they'll be without Mike Tolbert, who is a fullback. He looks like a cannonball. He's one of the, in my opinion, one of the more enjoyable players to watch in the NFL. He's like the opposite of Darren Sproles, where it's just like you shouldn't be in the NFL, yet you're just succeeding and having a 15-year career, so good on you for doing that. But Tolbert is a very important part of their offense. He's their number 2 fullback. He's played 21% of the snaps, but they also have used him at times to spell LaShawn McCoy out of the backfield, giving McCoy a little bit of a break just because Tolbert's capable enough of running that football. But going to what you were saying about the Buffalo Bills offense, it is LaShawn McCoy who has 1,053 yards from scrimmage, and then no one else. That is something that I stand by. And when you see how the New England Patriots have focused on stopping opposing offenses that are, no one has ever been built like this that the Patriots have faced. But when they face, Marshall Faulk in Super Bowl was at 36 back in 2001-02, dedicate all of their resources to making sure McCoy doesn't get moving, because down, then Tyrod Taylor is going to have to throw to a cast of receivers that just aren't going to succeed.
All right, Rich, so how do you do that? LaShawn McCoy is one of the best running backs in the NFL. He's great after the contact. He's very elusive. He's very good at his gap assignments. He's patient. If you're the Patriots coordinator, Matt Patricia, how are you making sure LaShawn McCoy does not beat you today?
Yeah, if anyone had the answer to that, you would have $1 million right now. LaShawn McCoy, I believe, ranks 3rd in the NFL for making up the percentage of his team's offense. I think Le'Veon Bell leads the NFL with like 40% of the Steelers' offense, or 35%. LaShawn McCoy is over 30%. So he makes up of what they do on a weekly basis. So with that in mind, I do believe that it is a smart idea as a defensive coordinator to say, let's give all of our resources here. We have linebackers. I don't think anyone can hold down LaShawn McCoy one-on-one. There's not a player on the team that I think is capable of doing that, not even a defensive back. So if I'm the Patriots, I'm going to say, you know what? Put a linebacker, make sure that you're tracking him the entire time, and add a safety to it. So I think that this is going to be a very big Patrick Chung game. He's going to be my X factor because the Patriots use Patrick Chung in a lot of ways. They use him at linebacker at times when they're in their lighter defenses. They use him in the slot against tight ends and against wide receivers. And then they have him spy quarterbacks and running backs out of the backfield. He does it all. And so he's going to have a huge game because that's the entire Bills offense. You have McCoy out of the backfield, you have Tyrod Taylor out of the backfield, and then you have Charles Clay at tight end. There's no one else. And so if Patrick Chung is able to succeed, he's going to be the one just have his eyes in the backfield the entire game. Give him that responsibility. Just have him eyes on the ball. Tyrod Taylor, whether it's McCoy, just have him. That's his entire role. Just make sure nothing comes out of the backfield, and you can have your other defensive front 6, 7 players just do their normal position. But I think Patrick Chung is going to be the one that has to step up and make sure nothing happens on the Bills offense.
Awesome. I like that a lot. Patrick Chung has been a great factor in the Patriots defense this year. He's really having a great season. Probably not Pro Bowl caliber because it's too nuanced what he does, but he's really been an irreplaceable piece in that defense. So to keep on with that theme, Rich, so say the Patriots are able to do that. Patrick Chung shuts down LaShawn McCoy. He keeps the spy role on Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor isn't allowed to be as mobile as he'd like to be, and the Bills have to basically go to plan B. What is plan B for the Buffalo Bills? They don't really have a number one receiver. Jordan Matthews, I guess, is their guy. They don't have a whole lot of talent at the receiving core, especially with Kelvin Benjamin out. What do the Bills have to do if they cannot successfully run LaShawn McCoy today?
Well, they haven't shown that they can do anything otherwise. They haven't shown that they have a plan B or C or anything other than have LaShawn McCoy be LaShawn McCoy, be top 5 running back in the NFL. That's all that they have in their bag of tricks. So you have Zay Jones, who is a rookie, second-round pick. He has 269 receiving yards. You have Jordan Matthews, the guy that they acquired from the Philadelphia Eagles, 268 receiving yards. Those are their receivers. They're averaging less than 30 yards per game. And if I'm Bill Belichick, I'm going to say, absolutely try to beat me with these players. I will feel entirely confident stacking the box with 8 players because these guys have shown no ability to be able to win with those players. So we're going to do a little bit of the cover 2. We're going to have Deron Harmon and Devin McCourty deep to make sure that they have no home run hits. But Tyrod Taylor hasn't shown an ability to win with what you said, the death by paper cut sort of approach. He hasn't been able to lead those drives of 10, 11 plays. And so make sure you stop the run and make sure there are no big plays. And then Tyrod Taylor's just not going to be able to lead them the entire way. And those receivers have not shown an ability to succeed. And with you have Zay Jones and you have Jordan Matthews. You got Malcolm Butler and Stephon Gilmore. Put Gilmore on Matthews, put Butler on Jones. I have full confidence in the New England secondary that they'll be able to erase them from the game.
All right, so the Bills are second place in the AFC East right now. Like you said, they are not out of playoff contention. I believe as of this podcast or as of this pregame show, the Ravens are number 6 seed, but the Bills are definitely in it. Their offense obviously isn't great. So it's got to be their defense that's kept them in these games, right, Rich? So it's their defense that's been keeping games close. They held the Chiefs to 10 points at Arrowhead last week. They have the pieces in place. We talked about some inactives early in the game. Cam Fleming will probably be the right tackle with Adrian Waddle and Marcus Cannon out. They have some decent talent on the defensive line. Are you worried at all about Brady getting hit a lot today?
I am worried. If there is a way for the Buffalo Bills to win this game, it is going to be because Lorenzo Alexander has a monster game against Cam Fleming, and that is something that is very, very possible because, as you said, Cannon is out and Adrian Waddle. They're both out with ankle injuries. Going beyond that as well, Chris Hogan is continuing to be absent with his shoulder injury, but all signs point to a return in the next week or two. And Mike Gillislee at running back, yet again, opening the door for Dion Lewis and Rex Burkhead. But as you said, the Bills' defense has been the only reason why they were competitive early on in the year. I mean, you look at their schedule. They beat the Carolina Panthers in week 2, 9-3. They were, for the first 8 weeks of the season, one of the best defenses in the NFL. They allowed 34 points to the Jets, 47 to the Saints, and 54 to the Chargers. And they improved against the Chiefs. They only allowed 10 points against the Chiefs, and they've been very, very good. If you want to say, how would you describe the Bills this year? They've been very good. They have a lot of talent. Sean McDermott does a really good job with that defense. But they rely a lot on their linebackers to drop into coverage, and that's how it was when he was with the Carolina Panthers as their defensive coordinator, is that they like to rush with their defensive front 4. They use their linebackers in coverage a lot, and then they play a lot of zone. And what happens with the Patriots is that they need to beat those zones on the outside. I think Brandon Cooks could have a huge day. I think that's very much possible. And I think Danny Amendola, our Patriots are really going to use their running backs out of the backfield. And I think that the big differentiating factor between the Bills defense right now and the defenses of the past that Sean McDermott has used with the Panthers that have been very good is the talent at linebacker, because he does not have Luke Kuechly. He does not have Thomas Davis. He does not have Shaq Thompson. He does not have 3 Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber linebackers at his disposal. He's been using Lorenzo Alexander, which, he's a good player, but he's more of a pass rusher. They have Ramon Humber, who is a former Patriots special teams player that you might remember. And then they have Preston Brown, who I think is a very good, if not underrated linebacker, but he's better at stopping the run than dropping into coverage. So the Patriots are going to attack the zones. I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities for the New England tight ends to generate yardage down the field. This is going to be another big Rob Gronkowski game. And while the Bills have shown an ability to stop players or teams in the past, against like very good quarterbacks, they've found teams at the right time, but they haven't shown an ability to consistently stop offenses. So I think that the Patriots should be fine when they're on offense.
You mentioned Rob Gronkowski, Rich. He's had a field day almost every single time he's come home to Buffalo, New York native. He's always had a big game against the Bills. I'm looking at this roster right now. I'm scrolling down the cornerbacks, the linebackers, the safeties. I really don't see anybody that can even remotely match up on Gronk person to person. There's got to do some kind of team tandem thing. If you talk about zone, Tom Brady thrives under zones as long as that offensive line can hold up and keep their front 4 off. If they can get pressure with 4 or 3 and drop 8, that could be a problem. But personnel-wise, I don't see any real way that the Bills secondary can match up against Brandon Cooks, Danny Amendola, and Rob Gronkowski. So if you are Leslie Frazier, defensive coordinator for the Bills, how are you trying to match up against this offense?
Okay, well, when I look at that Bills secondary, I see 2 players that I actually really like, but there's not a real chance that they would really match up with Gronkowski's. You have Tre'Davious White, who's a rookie out of LSU. Very, very good. If he's not the best rookie cornerback, that goes to Marshawn Lattimore of the New Orleans Saints. But if you have a number 2 cornerback this year, it's Tre'Davious White. He's been excellent on the outside. Going to be tasked with stopping Brandon Cooks. That's probably going to be his role. And Brandon Cooks should have a few opportunities here and there to develop plays down the field and take advantage of, White's rookie ability. The player that I think could have a chance to cover Rob Gronkowski, but I don't know if I think he might be a little too valuable in his role, is Micah Hyde, former Green Bay Packers defensive back. The Bills signed him this year. He's someone that I really wanted the New England Patriots to grab because I think he is as versatile as Patrick Chung, but provides a little more value at cornerback and on the deep half of the field. So Micah Hyde plays linebacker, he plays nickel cornerback, and he plays safety. He does everything, just like Patrick Chung does. And the Bills have decided we're going to use him as deep safety. We're going to use him as free safety, and he's been very, very productive doing that this season. I believe that he has 5 interceptions this year as the deep free safety. He makes plays, and he's someone that I don't think could shut down Gronkowski for the entire game, but he is the player in their secondary that I think would have the best chance. But that's where that Brandon Cooks value comes into play, because are you going to take your best free safety away from taking away the deep ball from Tom Brady, who's been the best deep ball thrower in the NFL, with Brandon Cooks, who's the best deep ball receiver in the NFL? Take away your best free safety and have him cover Rob Gronkowski. I don't know if that's the best utilization of resources, so I think Micah Hyde stays deep. Instead, you're going to use Jordan Poyer, who is their strong safety, as well as a linebacker to try and bracket him for as much of the game as possible, and that should likely open up plays with Danny Amendola or Philip Dorsett or some of the other Patriots receivers. That's the risk that you have to take as the Buffalo Bills, because you can't have Micah Hyde move and then let Brandon Cooks hit a home run on you every single time. You got to take your battles, you got to pick them. And I think that Micah Hyde staying at free safety is a smart move for them.
I like that. And I also think it bodes well for the Patriots, kind of edge to New England in that respect. We talked about the tight ends and the receivers having a big day. Let's switch to the running game for a second, Rich. Mike Gillislee, former Buffalo Bill, if he was ever going to come off the bench and have a big game, it'd be against his former team in Buffalo. Healthy scratch again. He may be wrapped up for the season. Who knows what their plans are for him. However, we talk about the big front four of the Buffalo Bills, a lot of beef on that line. I don't really know if the running game is going to be a huge factor today. Deion Lewis had a good one last week, but I feel like the receiving backs in Deion Lewis and James White are perfectly situated to make sure those linebackers don't have a field day blitzing Tom Brady if they decide to do so. How do you see McDaniels utilizing running backs in today's game?
I think we'll see a similar plan to what we've seen in recent weeks, where the running backs are used quick passers out of the backfield to kind of take the edge off the Buffalo Bills pass rush, because my X factor of the game is going to be Rex Burkhead, just because he's going to have to make sure that the Bills don't rush Tom Brady without any slowing down. So Rex Burkhead's going to be huge with helping out Cam Fleming chip against Lorenzo Alexander. I wouldn't be shocked if the Buffalo Bills said, let's flip Jerry Hughes over there as well and put a lot of pressure on Cam Fleming the entire game, because Nate Solder has been excellent since the bye week. But with Rex Burkhead, he's going to need to step up as a runner. He's going to need to step up as a blocker, and he's going to need to emerge as a consistent receiver out of the backfield on a continuous basis. So the players like Lorenzo Alexander, who have some responsibilities of dropping back into coverage, they're not able to say, let's just go after Cam Fleming and Tom Brady the entire game. So Burkhead is going to have to step up. I think he's emerged in recent weeks as a very reliable player that the Patriots trust, but I think he's going to have to continue to build on that. And I think he's going to really show what the Patriots had in mind for him. He's been able to contribute, but I think he's going to have his breakout game.
Nice. It's funny you talk about being able to chip, block, and catch passes. I really thought you'd be having your boy Dwayne Allen as your offensive X factor. So I will take your offensive X factor and make him I will go with Dwayne Allen today. I don't know as a receiver, not that he's coming to his own a little bit. He's finally starting to gain Tom Brady's trust. But I can see Dwayne Allen almost having like a Pat Chung role on the defense. He basically sees where Jerry Hughes is, and he moves to that side of the line. They move him back and forth because Cam Fleming will need some help. I think every time he's come in, he's given up a sack almost. It's like he comes in for one or two plays, the play blows up, and then Adrian Waddle or Marcus Cannon's come back in. So I feel like he's going to need at least another tight end on that side. So I don't know if Allen has a very big day as a pass catcher, maybe a couple red zone targets, but I would really see him staying close to home to block, to give Brady a little extra time, and maybe as an outlet receiver. So hopefully Dwayne Allen has his blocking pads on. He's going to need him today.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one, and I'll let you take him. So your X factors were Harrison, Dwayne Allen. This is like the ultimate ride or die week here.
That's right.
But with that in mind, let's move on to the game predictions and in closing. So Alec, who gets to go first here?
Let's see. You were closer in your prediction of the Patriots win last week, so you go first.
Just wanted to hear you say that. I think that the New England Patriots are favored by 8 points right now over the Buffalo Bills on the road. Patriots have done a very good job of taking care of business since the bye week, and I think that they will continue that. Patriots, past 3 weeks, they've averaged something like 36 points on offense. The Bills, over the past 4 weeks, or the 3 weeks prior to the Chiefs, they averaged like 45 points allowed. I think we'll see more of that. I think that the Patriots are going to put up 35 to 38 points against the Buffalo Bills. And you look at that Buffalo offense, I don't think that they have it in them to snap the Patriots' streak on defense of holding opposing teams to 17 or fewer points. So I'm going to go with the Patriots winning this one 38-17.
38, so 17 points exactly for the Patriots defense holding up. All right, Rich. The Patriots have only swept the AFC East twice in Bill Belichick's tenure, 2007, 2012. Other than that, they've always lost at least one game to AFC East opponents. They have to play the Bills twice, the Dolphins and Jets once. Both the Dolphins and Jets games are at home. I don't see them losing to the Bills at home. They have yet to lose their crappy game where nobody shows up and they play flat and no one knows what's going on and all the analysts have a field day saying Tom Brady is done and Bill Belichick is arrogant. I think it's this game. I do. I'm going to go with Buffalo Bills and a massive upset in this game because they didn't play well last week against Miami. Maybe they're tired from the road. This is the first of a 3-game road trip. Maybe there are some players who are looking ahead to Pittsburgh already. I just feel like this will be the crappy game that we're due every single season that doesn't make any sense, mainly because I see the Patriots in my head winning like a landslide. So I'm doing the opposite once again, going to George Costanza, and I'm going to Buffalo Bills in a really, really sloppy game, something like 21-17, or maybe Patriots have a chance to win it late and Cam Fleming gives up a strip sack to seal it. I think this is going to be a very ugly loss today. And I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I'm going with.
I'm going to go ahead. You're wrong. This isn't going to happen, but we'll see this all play out. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. at New Era Field Stadium, or whatever it's called. It's the Ralph. At the Ralph in Orchard Park. Everyone, we will have information at patspulpit.com. We'll have all of our post-game recaps and mid-game highlights posted on there. Alec, do you have any final thoughts before we sign off?
I will gladly welcome any and all comments giving me a whole lot of crap if the Patriots win this one. I have no problem with it.
Well, until next time, Alec, we will have our podcast Monday night. Everyone else, have a good one. See you later, Alec.
See you, buddy.